All right, so tomorrow it's gonna be the new moon in Virgo, and then it's gonna be like a little blend, like a little bit Libra on the side. So tomorrow we're gonna be reacting, responding to practicality as far as stability, having tasks, making sure we organizing, reorganizing things, making sure your room is cleaned out, making sure your car is cleaned out, making sure you feel me, new beginnings, feel me. So like basically the new moon means new awakening, birth is basically people, places, and things, circumstances, situations, other spirits being born. A full moon is when the moon is full of spirits, full of influences. It's been taking in too much liquid, too much gas, too much feelings and emotions, too much sorrow, too much energy. So of course you can see it with your two eyes. But the moon is basically like another reflection, like on the opposite. For me, the sun is your actions. The moon is basically your emotions, your vibrations, your inner world. So tomorrow, it's gonna basically be the new moon. So in order for you to basically catch up, or if you was planting good seeds or bad seeds, tomorrow's a new day to clear that shit out. For me, it's not the end of the world. You're always gonna be successful in life. You're always gonna manifest in life, but you gotta really ask and question yes. You gotta really question things. Do you want to be successful now, or do you want to die from this body, be reborn through the whole process all over again, and basically try again? Because remember, your life is a test, and you're in control of your life. You are the power. You have the power within you. So when you notice, you will see things start to play out into your life that you wouldn't look at like it was possible. But anything is possible if you put your mind to it, you put the work in, and you basically make the sacrifices. And time is very important. That's why you got to really make time in life. Because if you don't make time for yourself and you make time for other shit that preoccupies your time, which eats your time up, which endure your time, you be tired, you be exhausted. You don't really have much time to basically express yourself and basically do things because you're in so many programs, you're in so many concepts. So when you get the time for yourself, feel me? And of course, there's a whole lot of retrogrades going on this semester, basically. So you don't really want to like sit on your ass and basically let retrograde take shit over. This is a time. This is like a reflection, especially with this Mars retrograde shit that's going on, because Jupiter just basically set. But being with the Mars retrograde, that's basically the fire. That's your passions for me. And of course, the new year is in April. It's not in January 1st. It's not. It's not December 1st. It's not none of that shit. Because remember, everything is at a death stage, which is not alive. So how are you gonna grow if you don't see no fruits and labors on growing on the trees? Things ain't moving. So of course, spring equinox is basically where the new year begins. So that's where you really basically, well, every day you're supposed to be putting in work. For me, don't ever wait till a date to start doing things. For me, any day can be your day to manifest. Any day can be your day to rise. Never be like, oh, 2020 was a bad year. I'm gonna wait till 2021. No, and it's gonna get even more harder for you to the point you're gonna keep saying this shit till you almost in your 30s and 40s and 50s, and basically you just settled in life. Feel me? The time is now. The time is to get off your lazy ass and basically strive for what you want and fight for what you want, and making sure you planting good seeds during this semester too. Because remember, after this season is over, we are basically going into Libra season, and that's relating. So if you can't relate what you was planting in your backyard, then how you gonna look for me? And it's not even about the outside world, but how are you gonna basically carry yourself? How are you gonna try to relate to other people, places, and things if you're not up to part, and if you're not basically taking things serious? So now's the time to basically look into the mirror, look at the reflection for yourself, and basically strive for greatness. Feel me? So tomorrow's gonna be a new moon. So for all zodiac signs, even water signs, even air signs, earth signs, fire signs. For me, we all going through this circumstance situation as a whole. So make sure you're doing your spiritual work. Got your fresh piece of paper ready tomorrow. Make sure you're writing a whole lot of intent. Make sure every single day, like at least 2 times a day, got your little pen, you got your little paper, you doing your rituals and spells and shit. and you acting out and you reading these things out loud and you repeating these things every single day and you speaking your manifestations into existence and you acting out on your manifestations and you believing in the process and you're not letting no person, place, or thing stop you through the process. You making sure you making this shit very serious. You taking this shit as a whole. You better act like your whole family on the line. You better act like your kids is on the line. And if you fail, you gonna go down. And basically, when you go down, how you gonna feel leaving this planet with your kids to suffer if you ain't putting in the work, if you ain't striving, if you ain't being your greatest virgin? Feel me? Because it starts with you. Remember, these are your creations. You're responsible now. So remember that shit. Feel me? It's your responsibility, and they are relying on you. And a whole lot of people relying on you too. Even your ancestors. And I ain't talking about these weak ass ancestors that they gave you. I'm talking about the real spiritual ancestors that you did not see yet or not witness yet because you're stuck into the motherfucking bullshit that they motherfucking gave you. That these motherfuckers gave you and told you and lied to you and lied in your face because you worshiping somebody else's ancestors. You don't even know your ass from a hole in the wall. So it's very important to really basically take time with yourself and basically get with your inner real. So you can see for yourself. You can see the truth. You can see everything all the truth is always in front of you, within you. Whatever you was giving your paying attention to, or basically expressing yourself and giving your energy to, that was a reflection of basically what you was paying attention to. So of course you better take this into consideration. It's very important. But yeah, let's get back to this new moon shit. So basically, with this new moon, you want to make sure you're being consistent, you're being organized, you're sticking with the program. Feel me? Your program, not nobody else's program for you to be programmed into or get trapped into. Making sure this is your basically your initials on this motherfucking shit. Make sure you write your initials, and basically, if you want to see shit start manifesting in your life, not saying you got to come out of pocket or do any extra shit. Shit is just gonna come into your life. Remember, teamwork make the dream work. It's many spirits and bodies that are ghosts in this world, and they want to basically either work with you or use you. But listen, at the end of the day, if you planting good seeds and you're in the right space and location, right vibration, right energetic field, right organization, right, and you're around the right people, places, and things, these spirits is basically gonna be attracted to you because you're the light. Feel me? And the light is very important too. But you're not supposed to get lost into the light. You're supposed to learn how to use both. For me, because your spirit is the dark. You can't see your spirit, but we can see your light because basically this is a reflection. We can see with the two eyes, but we can't see our spirit with the light. It's a difference. So remember, this is the time to take this in consideration and make sure whatever you want to manifest, you write it on paper, you speak it into existence, you believe in this process, you talk to yourself, you get in that mirror, feel me, you get outside, talk to the stars, talk to the skies, use these planets, harness the energy, and basically be ahead of the motherfucking game. Because I guarantee you, if you do this shit, you're gonna see all the results that you want to basically see, and you're gonna start to see shit gravitating towards you in ways you wouldn't imagine. You're going to dream it. It's going to come into existence. Because remember, the moon is new now. And the moon brings manifestations. And when the moon is basically a full moon, because remember, the moon takes time to basically create a shape, create a form, create a vessel for it to basically take that into consideration. Now, listen, take this into consideration too. It takes time for a being to be born into this realm of reality. It takes 9 months. That's what the moon doing too. 30 days, 30 days, 30 days. I mean, but if you can be consistent and you can be practical and basically you can not make sure you're not letting or anybody putting you off guard and you're not paying attention to negative thoughts, feelings, and emotions and ideas and concepts that are not yours. Because remember, once you're on your goal, once you put it out there, you're going to have spirits that want to try to stop you, and you're going to have spirits that's going to work with you. So now listen, the bigger the orb, the heavier it's going to fall. So whatever you're paying attention to as far as details and circumstances and situations, that's what you need to be doing on a day-to-day basis. You're supposed to utilize the fire, which is your passions, which is your way you push yourself, being impulsive, self-expression. You're supposed to use also your wisdom, your knowledge, your concept, your point of view, your reference, It's supposed to also be the center of attention. You're supposed to direct this shit and push it, basically put the sorrows where you want to utilize it for. And also, you gotta utilize water. Add good feelings and emotions. Make sure your emotions is good. Make sure your emotions is. You making sure you're caring for your emotions. Making sure you taking your emotions serious. Make sure you hide your emotions, as far as negative emotions. This way, you can hide it and basically transform it out of you. You don't want to let everybody see your shit because you're gonna have more problems. You're gonna have more emotions, more emotional weight. But only emotional weight that you want to be utilizing is only on a harmonious spectrum. If you're utilizing harmful emotions, and it's basically going to harm you in some way, shape, or form to the point it's going to play out in the physical representation. And you don't want that shit to basically be a demonstration for you. You want to make sure you take power and control over that shit, which was stability, practicality, and being focused and taking your career more serious. Feel me? Because you don't want to put yourself in the situation of being asked out in this world. Because if you're asked out, you're going to be reincarnated. You're going to come back here again. You're going to repeat the process all over again. Because you gave your energy to bullshit. You was too naive. You wasn't too open. Feel me? You stayed stagnated. And of course, what happened when you stagnated? You deaf, dumb, blind, sheep, and weak. And of course, people that don't get on board with the knowledge, they're going to perish. That's what they said in the motherfucking Bible, too. And the truth is in the pudding. And of course, the truth is always going to be in your face. But if you too naive and you too just lost into space, because you know a lot of people, you know they got their own way of doing things. They got their own way of basically, and so a whole lot of people may have to come back here again to basically learn shit that they didn't learn. So you can't really shade on nobody's path. You can only put them into the direction of where they need to go as far as not wasting time. Because at the end of the day, time can never be destroyed. It can only be reciprocated. So somebody else's trash is going to be somebody else's trash. Somebody else's treasure is going to be somebody else's treasure because you can't take the money with you. Remember that shit. You can take the feelings and emotions with you, which is always supposed to be something that basically you program to make sure it chase after you. You don't chase after that motherfucking money. Feel me? That's where you get lost at. Feel me? Because you get lost to desire. That's something that you already have. But if you're replacing your inner world with something you already have for exchange for something physical, that's being lost in the physical. That's being a motherfucking demon trying to repeat the whole process all over again, where you can basically do other things in other ways and try to focus on getting things without you having to pay, or basically work hard, or break a sweat, or break a backbone, or break a vessel, or overwork your chakras. Feel me? Because it's very important to make sure you stand on board with this process. Feel me? The universe and your God, or whatever that word is. I don't really care. I don't really care about these words. Y'all know what I'm talking about as far as on a higher spectrum, somewhere in a higher power, which is your higher self. They need to see you basically putting in the work. They need to see you just being steady with things. Because if you're not steady, if you're not basically taking it serious, somebody else gonna take your shit. Somebody else gonna be like, fuck it. You ain't serious. I'm gonna take your shit. I want everything on the plate. I want that whole fucking Thanksgiving food in my motherfucking fridge. Because this motherfucker ain't gonna eat it. So I'm gonna eat his. I'm gonna eat all that potato pie. I'm gonna eat all that potato salad. I'm gonna eat all that shit the fuck up. And basically, it's gonna be mine now. Cause your ass ain't fucking serious. You pussy. You weak. You not about this shit. You soft. You lazy. You procrastinate. You a baby. You a bitch. Sit down. And when I mean bitch, I ain't talking about the female though. Because at the end of the day, a bitch is a witch. And a witch is very powerful than a man. Remember that shit. And of course, even a man got a witch in him, which is feelings and emotions, which is expressions. Remember that shit. Something that you express internally. It's not until you see it on the masculine side externally. But remember that shit though. It's very important though. Make sure y'all meditate tomorrow too. Cause tomorrow is gonna be feeling a little crazy and shit. Cause it's a new moon, so things gonna take time to basically start processing and shit. Remember, the moon is like the energy is at a high risk. Cause remember, when it's a full moon, that's where death comes into play. People die that day, especially if you put in a whole lot of work and shit, doing wrong things and basically participating in circumstances, situations that you shouldn't be participating in. Yeah, this year has been crazy. So make sure your ass is spiritually protected. Make sure your ass is writing down rituals and spells that you don't want to experience from other people's experiences. Make sure you put that out there in the universe so you can stay protected. And make sure your space and location is always fucking protected because you don't know who the fuck plotting on you. But you can find that shit out because your spirit gonna never lie to you. Your spirit always gonna tell you the truth. And when it's a new moon, that's a time to basically start adding on, start getting serious and being practical. And real shit, I love y'all and I hope everybody manifests.